What is it? Why do you go to work?
Money.
Everyone says money, but I tell you it's not money. You don't go to work for money. Why do you go to work? Lifestyle, exactly. You go to work to provide yourself with a lifestyle. And when you're no longer satisfied with your lifestyle, the reason you're going to look for another job is because, yes, often more money allows more resources, okay, to upgrade a lifestyle. Or number two, you're no longer satisfied with the life you're living, it's hurting you, and you want to change. We don't go to work for the money, literally. And so when you do go to work, the best thing for you to do is to find enjoyment in the fact that when you go to work, you're providing your family with a lifestyle. Look at the best case scenario. You might have a boss that totally gives you crap, but at least when you come home, you got a family, you can put food on the table, provide a roof, you know, go on the weekend camping if that's what you like to do. It provides you with a lifestyle. And you're going to enjoy it so much more. Own your own piece of the pie. A lot of us allow everyone else to take the blame, okay? Too often, and I was, you know, I'd be a key example of this myself when I used to work at someone like Hungry Jack's or other environments. You know, someone would come back with a complaint, and the first thing you do is go, oh, who made that? You wouldn't just go, oh, I'm sorry. No. When you go back and take a computer that doesn't work, what's the first thing the store attendant does? Does he say, oh, no? Or does he say, oh, I'll just check who was on? 99% of the time, I tell you, they'll look for who was on that sold you the computer. So why? They can deal with it. It wasn't my fault. If you take responsibility and just have a go or take ownership, that will allow a lot of burden to be off. And the last thing is just walk the extra mile. I know that's a bit strange when it comes to stress, but sometimes it's just good to do good things. And when you do good things, you'll create those endorphins and serotonins and dopamines, which will help the stress response. It's funny, when you see those charities and they all give the money, it's not that they're giving it to the charity. They're doing it for themselves. And it might be a bit, you know, low, but essentially that's true. You know, the person that gives $1 gets just as much dopamine as the person that gives $1 million. So doing the extra mile or doing that little bit extra can make a big difference. Before we get there. Oh yeah, you're going to win a prize today.
Oh.
So, anyone got any questions up to this point?
What if you're doing all of that
Mm-hmm.
and there's still more on top of that?
Okay. Let's take, for example, the human body. Okay? We've been told that you need this, you need that, and you need this. Okay? But is that really true? Isn't the diet that's going to keep me healthy the same that you should be eating, the same as everyone here should be eating? Yeah. Does one dog eat a different diet than another dog? Does one giraffe eat another diet than another giraffe? No, they eat the same. Now, if you've got a sick giraffe, what do you feed them? The same thing as the healthy giraffe. All of us need the same. You may be further down the scale and it will take you longer to reach sufficiency and get enough good stuff into your body. But a donut's going to hurt you just as much as it's going to hurt you or me. And an apple is going to have a good response in your body as it is in your body and in my body. See, we get this idea that we're all different and we all need different things. And to some degree, yeah, we have different things we like, okay, and different things that will give us our dopamine triggers. But essentially what's good for the goose is good for the gander, in this case. We allow ourselves to be overcomplicated. And so when you're saying that, you know, I'm doing all this stuff and I've got more, it just means you're not doing enough of the good stuff, which may be hard to see how that goes. But once we go through some of the techniques, hopefully you may learn one or two more techniques. But the first thing that you need to do to drop stress, and I'll say this now actually, is to love yourself. Now, who was it? I forget which speaker it said on the weekend, but ego. You know, we all think that an ego, you know, is a bad thing. It is, because it's edging God out. We think that being egotistic, okay, is really, really bad. And it is to some degree, because we only think of ourselves. We've got to relate to other people, but it's not a bad thing to love yourself. Because if you don't love yourself, how can you give love? If you don't know what love is, how can you share love? And so with relationships and all that kind of stuff, you need to think about those kind of stuff. When we're thinking about diet, we've got to look at, well, is what's in front of me going to feed me well, or is it going to harm me? And a chocolate bar does just as much damage to you as it does to a dog, as you will learn in the wellness workshop. Because you hear parents say, don't feed the chocolate to the child, it'll kill it. But they'll happily feed the kid. I heard on the weekend through Dr. Chestnut, again, sorry, he's really the forefront guy in a lot of the wellness thinking stuff. Say that in, I think it was Kentucky, an animal was taken away from its owners because of cruelty. And what were they doing? They were overfeeding it and not running it. Yet we allow kids to stay at home and do the same. It is the exact same thing. We don't think about the consequences of our actions half the time. We allow things to stay on our shoulders for too long. Let's talk about some techniques to eliminate stress. And look, by all means, this is not a comprehensive list. It's just the key things that I find work best for me. And certainly we can find a ton more that might work better for you. But who here goes to bed and has their mind talking to them 1,000 miles an hour?
Yo.
Okay. Excellent. So the reason that is essentially your brain is talking to you. It wants to tell you what your day was like. It's trying to catch up with you. Most of us try and ignore it, but the brain's actually designed to review the day. And so that's where journaling is very crucial. Write down what your day was, and a little bit further down, I think it's end of day recap. Think about what your day was like. What did you enjoy about it? What particular things didn't you enjoy about it? What things you could have done better? How could you have changed the thing that went wrong to make it work into your favor? And it goes the same thing. If your brain is telling you, oh, you did this bad, you did this bad, you did this bad, what use is that to you? I'm going to tell you, turn the voice around. Don't tell me what I did bad. Tell me how I could have done it differently. How could I have done it better? And I'm telling you, your brain will come up with answers. As you heard many, many people say, if you've got $1 million problem, your brain will come up with $1 million solution. So don't be afraid to ask it tough questions. Journaling is a great way to bring yourself to understand where you've been and where you're going to. And that will come also into our goal setting, but it can help you alleviate a lot of stress, because what I found myself as a prime example is with an end of day recap. When I was at uni, I had 17 examinations in 2 weeks. So 17 university exams in 2 weeks. That is freaky, okay? Now, I found though, if I was able to write them down and break them up into what was going on, I could say, hey, look, I can study here for there, and I can study that there, and I can do this. Oh, and I've done that, woohoo, celebrate the mini things. By recapping and chunking it down, which I'm sure someone said before, chunking it down, you can make problems seem smaller and more realistic. Because as our brain gets into a stressful mode and our pathways become harder to see the good things, it actually becomes easier to be overwhelmed with the things we've got to do. That's why a daily diary or a calendar can be an amazing thing, because you get better structure. Now, some of us are naturally inclined to do with that. Some of us, it's going to be very hard to do it. But I'm going to tell you, it's going to make a big difference if you can get there. Breathing. Most of us, we know if we're under stress, we breathe fast. So slow it down. Take deep breaths in. Get more oxygen in your body. More oxygen in your body is going to mean that you're going to feel more alive, more focused, and more clear to deal with stuff.